Hey everybody, welcome back. Not even the CIA could get these confessions out of me.
$450.
I'm having the summer of my life.
They locked me up for 2 years.
This might not even make the cut.
I'm ready.
I had just moved to Atlanta in 7th grade, and this guy was like just laying into me, making fun of me for being gay and this, that, and the other, and just would not leave me alone.
Like kept seeking you out.
Yeah, when you're in class, you're trapped. Sometimes when you're in the class you're trapped with your bully 5 days a week for an hour.
Yeah, literally.
All those days. And one day I was like, I've had it. I just looked over him and he had this, I'm telling you, don't laugh at this. It's not,
Okay.
I'm telling you, this really isn't funny.
Okay.
This massive pimple. It was huge on his forehead. And I let him have it. I read him down. I called it his cousin. I said he had paid taxes. I said his pimple had free lunch. I said his pimple was Section 8 housing. I was going in on this pimple. And then he shut down and got really quiet and then the pimple ended up being, and then he.
No, stop.
Isn't that crazy? So
that is nuts.
I felt guilty, but I was in 7th grade. I don't think he knew that it was
Drew was like
at the time. Anyway.
You're right. It's not funny.
It's not funny.
It's not funny.
But it is an insane. It's an insane story. It's insane, right?
You're right. It's insane.
I was defending myself because, every day for a month, this guy had nicknames for me.
Listen, you don't gotta justify it to me.
Okay, I really appreciate you sharing that. That is so ironic. I feel like this teaches us a little bit of a lesson. Hurt people hurt people. Okay, but wait, I have questions. Did he know that it was or was he unaware? Was it just a pimple at that point?
I don't think he knew that it was at the time.
Because if you didn't know, you didn't know. And the guy was being really mean to you. So you're just defending yourself. Oh my goodness. Bob the drag queen responds, 100% true story. That's the crazy part. Wow. I can't read his lips. Help. Okay, he said, it's the whispering. No, you're right. I really was not prepared. Okay, we're off to a great start. I'm sorry.
Put a finger down.
I hate this put a finger down trend. Trust me when I say this, if you ask me to put a finger down, I will put this middle finger up.
If you've ever had uninvited guests who call you and say, hey, we're in town. Oh, and by the way, we're down the street and it's my husband's best friend's wife and their kid, and we've never met the kid. And guess what? My husband's best friend is not in tow. So they knocked on your door literally less than 5 minutes later and hey, we'd love to see you. And we're like, oh, okay. We're totally in our pajamas, not ready. And they said, oh, hey, is there anything ready for dinner? And we're like, oh, when did you get into town? We meet the kid. We've never met the kid before. He's 18 years old. And all the years my husband's known his best friend, we've never ever met the kid. For some reason, he's always in boarding school. Anyway, they get here and she's wearing a very low cut dress. Very, very low cut. Very kind of if you bend over and you see the underwear. I'm kind of really uncomfortable. And she starts hugging my husband from behind randomly throughout the evening. We're like, okay, this is really weird, right? And then they're like, oh, can you put your dogs outside? We're like, no, our dogs live here. You don't live here. And we said, okay, we'll put them in the bedroom if you're being disturbed right now by their presence. They're like, oh no, we only have cats. I'm like, we have cats too. They're like, well, they're not our cats. I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, oh, we're hungry. And the kid keeps saying, oh, I'm hungry. I'm like, oh, okay, here you go. Here's my phone. You can order some food, order some sushi. And then the wife, my husband's best friend's wife is like, oh, do you have any juice? And we're like, yeah, okay, here's some iced tea. We don't drink, we don't drink either. Anyway, I give him my phone. I said, go ahead, order sushi. We already ate. By the way, we already ate. It was 7 o'clock. Just ridiculous. And I said, okay, here's my phone. Here you go. No problem, right?
Don't do
then
that.
Then the food comes about 45 minutes later. And guess what? I said, how much food is that? I look at my phone on Uber Eats. They spent $450. I'm like, I'm not really into wasting food. They had literally a catering order. I'm like, okay, maybe they're just hungry. They came in from New York, right? They had one bite of sushi. I'm pissed off. I'm like, oh, we have to go now. Bye. And they randomly give my husband a hug, literally hug. And they say bye. They don't give me a hug or anything. And then they leave.
Yeah, okay. Did not put a finger down. That is a very unique experience, I fear. This was your husband's best friend and his wife, who was 67 years old, according to your comments and updates. I'd be sending that best friend a bill. I mean, yeah, they really took an inch and went a mile, didn't they? It's the no hug for me. Like, wow. Not only did you just show up at someone's door and they let you just like order food because you were hungry, you didn't even thank them and give them a hug when you left?
Brother,
Oh God, there's a part two. There's a part two.
Okay, so I had to break it up because I couldn't put a PDF on TikTok. So here you go. Here it is from the app. Here it is from my Amex cards. You can see that they actually did charge that. Here you go. Okay, so this is what they ordered. Feel free to pause. Let me continue.
My goodness.
Here's more of what they ordered. You can see they ordered so much, which is ridiculous for 2 people only had 1 bite. And then look at all these charges. Look how ridiculous these charges are. But look, it almost would have been $500, but I got a discount apparently. Okay, so my husband just got off the phone with his best friend, and he put him on speakerphone, so I got to hear everything. And we looked at each other after the phone call ended, and I'm like, oh my God, what planet are they from? What Twilight Zone episode did they come out of the TV from? It is ridiculous. Anyway, he said, hey, did you know that your wife and your son came out to visit us in LA a few days ago?
Hold on. The best friend wasn't even there?
My husband's best friend is not in tow.
I did not catch that. You're telling me the wife and the son just showed up? I did not. That was right over the head. Husband wasn't even there? Are we sure that that's his wife and son? Or did you just invite some fugitives into your house?
And he's like, oh yeah, my wife mentioned about running an errand in LA. And he's like, you live in New York. Running an errand does not entail getting on a plane. And he was like, yeah, she mentioned going to visit you.
Running an errand.
Whenever we come to visit you guys, we mention it weeks or months in advance. He's like, well, I didn't think you cared. And he's like, well, also when they were here uninvited with 5 minutes notice, they also charged $450 on my wife's credit card for sushi, and we had already eaten, and they did not even offer to pay for it. And he's like, well, you guys can afford it. My husband lost it after that. He's like, you need to apologize to Liz. You
Absolutely
need to send her
not.
a check. PayPal, Venmo, Zelle, anything. It's like, no, we'll pay for you guys when we see you. My husband's like, we are never going to see you again unless you fix this situation.
Period.
I did forget to mention the original video that, yes, my husband's best friend's wife is 67 years old. The kid was 18 years old. They have another child as well. And my husband just really went off on him and said, we accommodated your wife and your son. We didn't have to let them in. We fed them. We entertained them for hours, okay? And they finally left. And my husband's best friend just did not think that was an issue. And I'm like, the entitlement is crazy. This is why people don't answer the phone anymore. This is why they don't answer the door anymore. Well, guess what? I learned my lesson. I am never, ever doing this ever again. I also want to address some of the comments. Yes, maybe we were their alibi for something. I don't know. They did not steal anything from our medicine cabinet. Luckily, my card is fine. I did request a new card just in case because, you guys are right about that. And also, my husband is not a pushover. If anyone follows me on my page, they know that my husband loved me unconditionally, and he really did stand up for me in the end.
Oh my goodness. Sorry, let me just scratch my nose here. Oh God, I don't want to pick my nose on camera, and here I am. Does anybody else have the overwhelming urge to lock their door right now? I'm gonna go do that. No, because on what planet would you show up unannounced to somebody's house and stay there for hours, charge $450 to their credit card, leave without a hug, and not think that that's weird? And the dress thing, oh God, I don't know, man, that sounds sketchy. That sounds real sketchy. I knew the you can afford it line was gonna come. Yeah, that's it. That's the line. It's almost like they went over there and they were like, they needed food and they didn't want to pay for it themselves, but they didn't need food because they took 1 bite. Like, what? That is so bizarre.
how bizarre.
Okay, I'm glad someone else was like, I misunderstood part 1. I didn't realize the actual best friend wasn't there. Take them to small claims. No, because how is it that I missed that too? Like, what the hell? The fact that they were ordering 30 individual sushi rolls knowing they weren't that hungry. It's the disrespect. The disrespect. They were like, I'm so hungry. Oh, eat 1 bite. What do you mean? Oh my God, I love this lady. She's so funny.
Hi, my name is Mimi. When I was 14, I was pregnant by this guy that I was dating, and I had a ghost baby. That means the baby wasn't fertilized, but the sac was going to keep growing and growing and growing, and my body was going to act like it was pregnant, but it wasn't really pregnant. He never showed up, so my mother showed up, and she was the whole time. And then she kicked me out, but then she told the court system that I ran away. So now I am on the run as a runaway with a warrant out for my arrest at 14. And then he was on the run with me, but then one day he decided to turn me in, made me go home, and the police was waiting there, and then they locked me up for 2 years. straight without leaving. I brought brownies. Hi, it's Mimi again, and when I was 16 years old, I finally got released from the DJJ because as a juvenile, you don't have to do time. You actually have to complete a program. So sometimes when you're sitting in these jail cells, it's considered dead time because you have to get accepted into a program. You have to complete it. So I went to a school called New Dominion School for Girl. It's a wilderness program. I lived outside in the woods, in the snow, in the heat, cut down trees, lived in a tent, cooked outside, hiked, did all types of stuff, make you talk about your feelings. And then when I got out at 16, I dropped out of school. I got pregnant with my son, and I've been living on my own since I was 16. I rented out somebody's basement for $600 a month. Not a whole basement, just one little tiny room for $600 a month, and I started doing nails. And my parents and my family couldn't be anymore not proud of me.
Oh.
I brought goldfish. Hi, it's Mimi again. And when I was 18 years old, I became a single mother, and I started partying a lot. I was at every club you can think of. Ibiza. I was there every day. I was drinking almost every single day. Then I started getting on. I got so skinny, I was down to 100 pounds. And then I started dating this guy, and I do not understand why I was dating this guy till this day. I don't know what the kind of spell he had on me, but I just wanted to be with him. He was no good for me, and he would constantly cheat on me. And guess what? My car broke down in Benton Road, and he left me there. And next thing you know, my car got set on fire in Adams Morgan, and he left me there. And so that's the reason why I decided, okay, I need to get away. So I decided to move to North Carolina to be with my cousins, to get away for a couple of months. But during those couple of months, I was still stuck sending him money like a idiot. To this day, I do not understand why.
It just keeps getting worse. We're only halfway through. Mimi. Okay, but to be fair though, your nails are absolutely amazing. Like, can I just say, yes, you had to do that when you were 16 years old, but like the skill shows, I'm just saying.
Oh, I bought Ritz cracker. I did get off. Hi, it's me again. And when I was 26 years old, I decided to move my family from the DMV to Atlanta. And instead of just moving my family from the DMV to Atlanta, I decided to move a whole entire another family. My friend, her husband, and her children all the way to Atlanta with me to live under one roof. And needless to say, all of that went sour really fast. My ex and her husband got into it. They got into a fight. And then guess what I did? I went and paid for them to move out. I paid for 2 months rent of them to have a roof over their head because I felt like I owe them something because I made them move all the way out here. And so now they owe me money. But then they start harassing me. We start beefing. And then they told me to pull up. So I pull up. I fight them. They pull out all types of crazy stuff happened. But after that, I thought a fight, once you fight somebody, it should be over. But it wasn't over. They continued stalking me, harassing me, making fake pages, posting my kids, all types of for years to come. They stalked me and harassed me for a really, really long time.
But your nails are amazing. You're definitely going to be filling up that snack bowl. Let me guess. There's more. Honestly, I'm never complaining again. Like ever. You watch videos like this and you're like, wow, you know what? It's not that bad. It's really not. Like if you think about something that's going on in your life, maybe there is something just as bad and maybe you have had an equally bad life. But the vast majority of us are complaining about things that really are not this bad.
I brought seaweed.
Favorite.
Hi, Mimi here again. And as
Hi,
by
Mimi.
now you can tell that I make terrible life decisions with people that I date. So when I was 29 years old, I finally separated from my ex of 10 years. And guess what? He was sleeping around with this girl that was in my friend circle, but she claims that she wasn't a part of my friend circle, but she's been to every event and every birthday party that I have thrown in Atlanta. Anyways, he took her to my hairstylist, and he had my hairstylist do her hair. He let her drive the car that was under my name. But anyways, when I pulled up to go fight or whatever, they ended up calling the police on me and they went to jail. But anyways, when everything unraveled, I found out that he was doing voodoo on me. 21 Division Dominican voodoo on me. I bought Ferrero Rocher.
So wait, maybe your life was this bad because someone was doing voodoo on you the whole time. Someone you were dating for 10 years.
I am now 34 years old, and I must say this relationship that I've been in with Mr. Stretch for the past 4 years have been the most healthy, healthy relationship I have ever been in. And what we can take up from this trauma is life is like a box of chocolate.
There's still wrapper. You deserve that, baby girl. The whole box.
Eat it and throw it in the trash.
Period. Okay. I was gonna say you never know what you're gonna get, but you could also eat it and throw it in the trash. There's multiple things that you could do with a box of chocolate. I think it's safe to say you won the Trauma Snack Bowl challenge. Excuse me, voodoo? No, wait, serious question. How do you know if someone's doing voodoo on you? I think if your life is just really, really bad, it could be a sign. For those of you who have really bad lives, do you think maybe someone's doing voodoo on you? It's possible, but the fact that you were dating the person that was doing voodoo on you, that's not a common occurrence, I would think.
Oh, nothing. Just received my helicopter bill from being airlifted to the emergency room. And the ride was like 15 minutes, maybe, if that. And they didn't give me no medicine or nothing. They literally just took me from point A to point B.
Let's guess. Okay, let's guess how much this helicopter bill was. $25,000 without insurance.
And didn't talk or nothing. You know, I would think it'd be maybe a few $1,000s. You know what I'm saying? 20 is like the max up there that I would think. Like 15 really pushing it.
Oh, God.
You know?
Okay.
Y'all want to see how much this bill is? And I don't have
Show
insurance.
me.
Keep that in mind. I don't have
my
any
gosh.
insurance. $69,000.
This is the best ad for health insurance I have ever seen. Like, screw the commercials. This is really good advertising. I don't need no ride, y'all. They trying to pick me up. This is a helicopter ride you didn't even want. You didn't even want to be in that helicopter. A helicopter tour costs like $800. Should have booked on TripAdvisor. Buddy, seriously? American healthcare is just another beast, isn't it? Do you guys remember the story about a girl that had like a $10,000 fart? She like had a stomachache and she was in so much pain she went to the ER.
While we're waiting for the CT scan results, nature calls and I need to use the restroom. I let out the world's fattest ripper you've ever heard in your life. Needless to say, after letting out the world's biggest ripper, I felt pretty good. And they ruled it as gastrointestinitis. This fart cost me $8,621.10.
For a fart? For a fart.
When I was about 3 years old, I remember I got really sick and I ended up in the hospital for a couple of days. I remember one of my mom's friends gave me a tea set for a get well gift, and it was one of my favorite gifts. I couldn't wait to get home to finally be able to play with it. So I got to go home the next day, and my mother, she had to work, so she left me home with my dad. My dad helped me set up my tea set, and then after that, he went back to the living room to watch TV. So I decided to surprise him with a cup of tea, which was just water. After my dad had several cups of tea, my mom came home, and my dad wanted to show my mom that I was bringing him cups of tea, so he told her to wait right there in the living room. I remember he said to her, "Now watch our daughter bring me a cup of tea." He thought it was the cutest thing ever. So my mom sat on the couch and she waited, and here I come down the hall with a cup of tea. I gave the teacup to my daddy and she watched him drink it. I remember my dad had the biggest smile on his face. He said, "See, honey, ain't she the cutest?" My mom looked at him and she said, "I know only a mother would know this, but has it ever occurred to you that the only place that your daughter can reach to get water is the toilet?"
I was not prepared. I was not prepared for that. Oh my, oh, he's so pleased. He's so proud of you. So proud. Oh, ugh. I thought you were gonna say he was bringing you like cups of alcohol or something. How are you not embarrassed? Poor dad was so proud. He was. I'm sorry. As someone who has never drank toilet water before, isn't it possible that you'd be able to tell? Isn't it? I guess it kind of depends on how clean the toilet is, but like also the only way to know is if we test out the toilet water, and I'm not doing it. Like, so I like that your mom clocked that so unbelievably quick and your dad had been drinking toilet water. all night long. No, because ew.
Okay, 3 years ago, I'm having the summer of my life. I just graduated college. I'm living in my first apartment. I'm feeling young, fun, and flirty, okay? And I matched with this hot guy on Tinder who had just moved to the city. And he's very much my type. Like, he's very charming. We have very similar senses of humor. I want to sit on his face. And he's really into me. And so we end up exchanging phone numbers. And we're chit-chatting and stuff, and he goes, what do you do for work? And I go, oh, I just started this restaurant not too long ago. What about you? And he goes, well, it was complicated. I can hold space for nuance. How complicated could it be? I'm educated, you know. I went to an accredited university for a BFA, but I'm still educated. Try me. And he's like, well, I'm a... Oh my God. What does that all include? And he was like, oh, I have an OnlyFans, but I make a majority of my money escorting. He was like, I have a couple of older gentleman clients that I see, you know, and I provide the boyfriend experience. So they take me out to dinner, theater, movies, whatever. And then I go back to their place. And then, you know, I do that for about 3 months. And then I make all the money that I need for the year. I'm sorry. You make all the money that you need in a year. For a year. In 3 months. Y'all hiring? And so then he was like, can we hang out sometime this week? And I go, oh my God, my mom's visiting from out of town. I'm like, maybe next week. And he goes, well, if you have any time to get away, let me know. And I said, sure. So like the next day or two, I'm like having dinner with my mom and like her friend that are both visiting. And I take them back to their hotel. The whole time at dinner, he's texting me like, I would really love to see you tonight. Like, is there any way that we could like hang out? Like I could come over or whatever. And I was like, I'll let you know. And so then I dropped my mom off at her hotel and she goes, do you want to spend the night? And I go, gotta keep it cute. Okay, gotta be demure, very mindful.
He's got an appointment.
And I was like, I think I need to sleep in my own bed tonight. And my mom was like, really? You don't want to sleep in a nice hotel with me? Like, all these accommodations?
No,
and I was like,
he's got an appointment.
Girl, I gotta get back to the Roach Motel real quick. I was like, maybe tomorrow. And she was like, okay, girl. And so then I literally sprint out of that hotel, get to my apartment. I text this man that I'm home, and he, within like 20 minutes, is there. And I open the door for him, and as soon as I see him, I go, oh, it's on. Okay, because he's so... The chemistry, as soon as he stepped in the room, was on fire. He spends the night. We hold each other in bed the whole night, girl. Okay? The next morning, we do even better. I go, ah! Now, I had to go meet up with my mom and her friend to kind of play tour guide. So I was like, oh, I got to get ready to go. And he goes, oh, yeah, no worries. He gets dressed. I walk him to the door. He gives me a long, passionate kiss before he goes. And he was like, I would really like to see you again. And I was like,
Did he charge you?
I would really like to see you too.
Did he charge you?
Yes! He leaves. Okay? I go meet up with my mom and her friend. The whole time that I'm hanging out, we go to Ellis Island. I'm texting him, and I don't have great service. So I'm texting him, whatever. And it's like going through, but I don't hear anything back. And I was like, you know what? When I get back to the island Manhattan, I'm sure I'll have a bunch of texts from him. It was crickets.
Wait, that's even worse.
This gave me a free trial of the boyfriend experience.
I knew it.
And then won't probably respond until I start paying.
I knew it.
Which is honestly like a really great business model.
Wow.
So good for him.
I knew it. Buddy gave you the boyfriend experience, which honestly isn't that much different from having a lovely time and then never texting you. That's the real boyfriend experience. I am traumatized. You know I'm right, though.
Oh my God, it's so wonderful. It's so lovely.
You hear nothing? That is what modern dating is it not? This was kind of evil. It was. Doesn't mean it's not smart, though. That's not something that I could easily live with, you know? My ego would hurt too much. I'd have to be admitted if this happened to me. Honestly, this would do a number on my ego, like 1,000%. Wait, does this mean that whenever a guy was just like not texting me, he was just kind of like manipulating me into like wanting to, never mind. Thank you for sharing, but honestly, the CIA couldn't even get that confession out of me. Subscribe!